Hey YA, we are going to be looking at Daniel's chapter 1 through 3 today, and I want to jump right into the beginning of chapter 1 where we pick up Daniel is basically being identified with his cronies as without blemish, strong looking, handsome, put together men. And what's interesting about this part in scripture to me is that they were just conquered and they're currently in exile, right? And they have all the reason to be downcast and not looking this way, but they actually are. They still have faith and hope in what God's going to do through their people. And it kind of correlates to how exiles can be a part of establishing the remnant and filtering, right, the non-faithful to the faithful. So I see that right away in the beginning of the book. And then we jump to chapter 2, and I really love the story of interpreting King Neb's dream, right, where they have to not only interpret it, but they actually have to know what it is. And I pick up in chapter 2, verse 14, where Daniel replies to the guard that's coming to kill them with prudence and discretion, right? Daniel's smart, intelligent, 10 times smarter, right, than anyone else in the kingdom. And he takes great care in making an appointment with King Neb, and he goes and he immediately tells his cronies that, hey, this is what's happening. We need to pray right now for God's mercy. And they do that. And what happens is he receives the dream and the interpretation. And immediately he responds with praise. He immediately praises God for what he has done and who he is in answering his prayer. So the process of humbling himself in prayer immediately with fellow believers, right? And then being obedient in that, and then glorifying God in that immediately. And also when he goes to interpret the dream, he puts God at the forefront, right? He's in the front of everything. He is the reason he's interpreting the dream. And he explains this to Nebuchadnezzar multiple times. And at the end, even King Nebuchadnezzar himself identifies God as the one, the best, the God above all gods. And it's just a cool story, an example of how we need to be obedient and humble ourselves before God, and also glorify and praise, bring attention to him. So thanks for joining me. Dave's going to pick up on chapter 4 tomorrow. Hope you have a great day.